Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of
The Loud Ones Podcast.
I'm your host, Naz B.
And I am Danny B.
So guys, last week's episode we gave you guys feedback on what y'all wanted to know more about women and questions that y'all had about us or just women in period. So we gave y'all our feedback. Now this week's episode is going to take a turn for something a little more serious. Netflix came out with a series covering what happened to how we failed a boy named Gabriel Fernandez. So I didn't watch the documentary purposefully because it is very triggering for me. And we'll get into that, but I feel like it's still something that we can talk about because we see stories like this way too often. And I'm going to let our special correspondent, Danny, cover this because she actually watched it.
Yes.
And yeah, go ahead, Danny.
So I watched it this week, and it is a very sad thing because what I saw was someone who is supposed to be a caregiver, a nurturer, and they absolutely lacked in that field. And not only them, but the whole umbrella of DCFS and like just everything.
So so before we get into like the nitty gritty of it, who is Gabriel?
Okay, so Gabriel was he was an 8-year-old. I don't know if he was Mexican, but he was of Hispanic descent. And he lived in Palmdale, California. What happened was he lived with when he was born, his mom did not want him. His mom did not want him. So his uncle, who is gay, took him in and raised him as his kid, I believe, until he was like 5.
Okay.
Then his grandmother, Gabriel's grandmother, which is also his uncle's mother, said 2 gay guys should not be raising a boy. Okay. So the grandmother came in and took the son until the mother got back on her feet. And I think she took him back for the last 8 months of his life. Okay. For that 8-month period, she had been dating this guy named, they called him Tony. She had been dating this guy named Tony, who was her boyfriend. And for 8 months, they beat that little boy up. Some of the graphic things that they did to that young boy was so sad. Like they had him locked up in a cabinet. They fed him kitty litter. They shot him in the face with a BB gun. He fractured some of his ribs. This young boy was they beat the shit out of him for 8 months because they thought he was gay. Y'all are fucking that shit was disgusting. And then the whole thing
how did you watch this?
I really this is something that I love documentaries and I like learning about.
I love documentaries, but things like
that
this.
shit when it opened, the opening of it, they showed you all of the injuries he had, and it was every part of his body. Every part of his body. And he said that, he beat him in a rage. I don't know how you beat someone that bad in a rage, but it was disgusting. But the thing that was even more disgusting was how DCFS had so many. The child's teacher called DCFS 5 times, and they never removed the child from the home. The police department went to the child's home. The police department went to the child's home at 2:00 in the morning and never asked to actually see the child. Just spoke to the mom, and the mom says that he's lying or whatever. Then this guy, they go to the DCFS welfare office. One of the police officers in there see it and try to report it to one of the people in there. And they say, because they're not offering enough overtime, they're not going to do it. And this is my thing. If you're not passionate about a job like that, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That shit is sick because these are children. Like, I understand, like, you're angry and you're hurt and you're upset about something. Okay, box your child once. I'm not going to say don't beat your children, but I'm going to say there's a difference between disciplining your child and abusing your child.
So let me add my 2 cents real quick based on what you just said. So one of my sisters used to work for ACS. Mm-hmm. And from my understanding and from her personal experience, an ACS is basically the child
protective services. It's CPS now.
Oh, because they still have it as ACS listed as an agency like that. It might be a different division.
I think, probably.
Because I know ACS built out a little bit, but
yeah.
Basically, they provide supportive services, social services mm-hmm. to children. Mm-hmm. So when she was working there, because these agencies are funded by whether it be locally funded or state funded or federally funded or whatever, they oftentimes they're understaffed.
Yes,
there is a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. And
that was
not
one of the
enough
points they
hours.
said.
So what tends to happen is a lot of people don't understand what social workers have to do. And yes, I will say the social system fails these children, mm-hmm. but until they make budget changes, until they change protocol and some of the laws that are required, it's going to be very hard to address situations like this. I remember there's times my sister would have to, social workers travel to homes, right?
Yes.
They assigned a certain amount of cases. Mm-hmm. The cases tend to be, their caseload tends to be extreme. It's supposed, the caseloads that they usually deal with are caseloads that have to be dealt by 2 to 3 to sometimes 4 social workers. So when you give one social worker, their set hours are 37 and a half. They already are working most likely 60 hours because what happens is they have to do these house visits. They have to do reporting and document every house visit. So the house visits might not be thorough.
Yes.
Documentation might not be thorough. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they don't have the capacity to take on cases that need more attention. In this case, like Gabriel's.
That was also something they said in the
it's very hard because these people are then kind of a little numb to the situation. A lot of social workers that I find, they get mm-hmm. into this career because they love it, mm-hmm. and then they end up becoming numb to the situation because of the restraints that are put on them as far as staffing, budgeting, etc. And they get overwhelmed mm-hmm. oftentimes. But this is a career that, because most of the times they have licenses. Yeah. So you're a licensed clinical social worker or whatever the case is. You tend to have licenses. You most probably have a master's in social work. So this is your career field. Mm-hmm. So you are stuck in a very overwhelming situation consistently. And we've seen cases out of New York where boys and other young girls experience something very similar to Gabriel. Mm-hmm. I remember. Again, I didn't watch the Gabriel situation, but I remember there was a story that happened 2 years ago. This woman had killed her 2 children after beating them severely, and she had them in the freezer.
Oh, I feel like I remember
this. It was a black woman.
Yeah.
And she said because one of her children had made claims that they were being molested and sodomized by the other 2 siblings. And she felt that siblings were possessed and they were demonic.
Oh my!
So what she did was she knew that she had to protect this one child from the other 2 children she had, and it was crazy. There was another case, I think in Far Rockaway recently, a year ago, mm-hmm. Where this lady and her boyfriend, it might have been Far Rockaway. I feel like, I don't want to mix it up with another state, but I remember the guy. He had put several requests in to change custody over to him, mm-hmm. and they denied fathers, which most of the time happens because they keep the child with their natural parent being the mother. Mm-hmm. And in that case, that child was starved.
Oh my God.
And beaten. So it's very sad because it's just, and I know this is probably one of the worst cases that has been out there for them to even to create a documentary of it, but I couldn't fathom watching it. So go ahead. What else?
So I know it's something similar to that. I remember there was a story where this lady, she ended up killing her son by accident. But let me tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
This one was her son. Okay, her youngest son came to her and told her that I think he was flashing himself or masturbating or something. He did something. The young boy. Yeah. He did it, and she asked him like, "Where'd you learn that?" And he was like, he said something that referred like I think he tried to deny it first, and then he told her like, oh, his brother had done it, and his brother had done some cruel shit to him, raped him, was wiping his semen across his face, doing some fucked up shit. So the mother started, like, she grew resentment towards him because it's like, you doing this to your brother, like, what the fuck? Like, if she was just trying to give, like, over a period of time, she would not give him food, like, because she had so much resentment in her heart for him. And she was like, I think she had burned him or did something. She did something. She did a bunch of things that was equal to the things that he had done to his little brother. And she was so enraged that she ended up killing him or whatever. She admitted all of this. She said, it's not right. I'm sorry. She said, it's just, I was so.
Oh, that's not the same lady, because lady said to Nicole, I'm not sorry. No, do it again.
Oh, she said she wasn't sorry. She said she wasn't sorry, but she said she was so consumed with the hate and anger that she had for her son that it had caused her to become so mean to him. And the crazy thing is that I don't agree with what she did, but I could understand why she did it. Yeah. Because you did that to your little brother. Like, I could understand why she had become so angry. But do I agree with it? Would I have done it? No. Then she later found out that her daughter was doing it to the son that she killed.
We're talking about the same person.
We're talking about the same person.
Light skin, a little bit light skin, and her hair was looking crazy.
Yes. Yo, that shit, when I heard that.
She had the orange jumpsuit.
Yes. Yeah. When I heard that shit, I was like, wow.
Yeah, she had found out both children were molesting and sodomizing the younger child, and she felt like she wanted to protect him.
Yes, but that she didn't kill her daughter. She only killed her son.
No, she killed two, and she left the one that was when both was in the freezers.
No, this is not the same lady then, because this lady she found out later after she killed her son and been convicted for the crime that she had killed her son. I mean that her daughter had been raping her son that she killed.
No, I don't know if we're talking about the same one, but once she had found out after she killed the first one, she killed her and put her in the freezer because she found out that she was the one that taught the second one, and then it. I'm gonna show you.
Look it up, because I don't think she killed. She only got killed. She only got charged for one murder.
Was it in New York?
It wasn't in New York. It was like, I think like Alabama or some shit like that. She wasn't in New York. But I remember that case, and I was just like, Jesus Christ! Like, I understand, like, your child is frustrated, you want to beat them, but you beating them that much, like, you don't hear them screaming, running, you don't think that you breaking the bone, like you like.
Yeah. Like, are you talking about her?
I don't know if that's the same lady. I can't remember exactly how she looks, but she looks similar to that.
She lives in Detroit. It says, declaring a house of horrors closed, a judge sentenced a Detroit mother to life in prison Friday for killing 2 of her 4 children, storing their bodies for years in a home freezer. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Her. It was a very big case. It was all over the news.
Let me see.
And she put their bodies in the freezer. She wasn't apologetic about it at all. Said she would do it again because she was protecting her children.
No, the son that this lady killed. This is not the same lady, but the son that the lady killed was like 15. He wasn't that young.
Stoney. I remember her name was Stoney.
Yeah,
these two.
Yeah, no. This was she was an older.
Okay.
So that shit was crazy to me. And I read a post, right, that was saying that, how would you feel if you had somebody beating these little hands? It was on the shade or something like that. And somebody wrote in the comments, like, beat that ass. And I swear to God, I was screaming with laughter because it's just like, I was like, it's not funny. And I don't believe in like abusing your kids. But I mean,
would you spank your child?
Yeah, I believe in disciplining your child, but I don't mean like, I'm not talking about like punching my child in the full face. Like, I'm talking about like
I decided I'm not going to spank my child.
I'm going to try my best to speak first.
I think for me, there was a episode of The Breakfast Club where, I think it was Breakfast Club, where someone said that the reason why parents discipline the child in terms of spanking is because it's not the child's fault, is that they don't want to parent. They don't want to take the time to explain to the child.
I mean, I can agree.
What it is that they've done. Mm-hmm. What is the corrective action that should take place? What's the repercussion of that? And then how they would be punished, and and give that understanding. And so because the parents do not have patience, they tend to act quickly with violence and spank the child.
I can agree.
And that's what, because there's sometimes, I remember when I got spankings growing up. I'm Caribbean. It's very typical.
It's typical.
We got spankings with whatever. And it was like, sometimes I got spankings because my siblings did something, and we all, my mom and my dad, especially my dad, would be like,
that.
What? Yeah. We were there to witness it, or we didn't stop it, or we all had to learn the same lesson at the same time, even though I didn't do it. And I'd be so mad because I'd be mad with them. I'd have so much anger, resentment. I would just have all these emotions, and I just didn't understand as a child. So one thing my husband and I talked about, and you guys, we're still kind of working through the kinks of it, is how we plan on disciplining our child. And my thing is, I want my child to understand why they should not do the things that caused them to get in trouble, so that they don't go into a world feeling like they need to resolve things that go wrong with anger. I want them to have an understanding, so that when they grow in life, they know I should not hit so and so, because I'm sorry guys, if you hear any fucking noise,
oh my god,
apparently
I guess
doing
there's construction somewhere in this
I don't
bitch.
fucking know. Sorry guys. I feel like we always give y'all a little bit of ghetto every here and there. I'm sorry.
Listen, but, you know what? We ghetto.
Bitch, listen. But I feel like I want them to walk away with that understanding, like, okay, I did XYZ. This is why it's not good to do it, because this can happen. Someone can get hurt. I can get hurt, whatever the case is, so that they move forward and doing that. Because honestly, you ever grew out of a spanking? Like, it didn't bother you after a while?
My mom stopped that when she realized I grew out of spankings. Like, she did. Like, she beat me. I was in the bathroom.
Like,
dying my sister hair. And she came in, she said, "Didn't I tell you to wash dishes?" And she started hitting me with a slipper. And I started looking at, I think I was like 13. And I started laughing. And she was like, she just knew after that, like, beating me wasn't going to work. And I didn't, and honestly, she didn't have to beat me. Like, so I agree with what you're saying. Like, you know, taking the time to have that conversation. I mean,
that's just how I want to move forward. And I feel like it'll save I'm not trying to save the world, but I feel like if parents take that approach, you won't have children who have that pent up anger, who take it out on society. We have mass shootings for no reason with these young kids.
I believe what you're saying.
And a lot of men and children who do not know how to properly direct their anger, who don't know how to talk about their emotions. And I'm trying to take a different approach. I'm not gonna lie. If this calls for a chance where I gotta
pop you real quick,
I gotta pop your ass real quick, it depends.
And that, you see, that's what I'm saying.
That's not, I'm trying to make sure that's not my first round of
exactly. And I agree.
Action.
I don't believe that I'm going to be an excessive beater to my child, because I believe in having conversations about stuff.
Yeah.
So I would personally, I agree with what you're saying. Like, you know, if beating is the last resort, and you know where beating comes from? Frustration. Just like when you're dating your man, you don't be beating on him because you can scream at him and he can understand exactly what you're saying. When you have a kid, you keep saying the same thing over and over and over.
You gotta pop their ass. I'm not gonna lie.
Sometimes you gotta be like, didn't I fucking tell you not to?
Yes.
But y'all be taking it overboard, punching y'all kid in the face and shit, like punching them in the chest. And
I'm trying to think if I've gotten beatings. Don't get me wrong. My dad was very strict.
My mom boxed me one time.
Yo, let me tell you the craziest beat. My mom gonna hate me telling this story. I forgot what the fuck happened. My mom frustrated me. I was probably like 12, 13. And I got in the bathroom, went in the shower, and I locked the door, and I was talking my shit like, fuck. I wasn't saying fuck you. And I'm a person where it's like, I know I shouldn't have said something. I know, you know when you're not supposed to say something. And I was like, and then I was like, and my mom, I swear to God, in my mind, I'm like, don't say it, Nas, don't say Nas. And like, I hate you. For some reason.
That door came down.
Let me tell you something. You ever think your parents so far away they can't hear you?
Yes.
I don't know where the fuck she was. She can hear me. My mom, guys, is like 6 feet. She's a very large lady. She fucking came. What did you say? Open her ass door. I said, leave me alone.
You opened the door, bitch?
Bitch, now she broke the shit down. Tore my ass up in the shower.
She fucked you up.
I think that was probably one of the last beatings I've gotten. I did ask for it. And it's so funny because out of all my siblings, like I don't try my mom. I don't try my mom, and I didn't like trying my dad. Like when you give me 2-3 beatings, I'm like, I got it. I understand.
Yep.
That best behavior.
That is me.
And I'm not gonna lie. I grew up like I was not holding my siblings down for nada, because let me tell you something. You are not gonna get me fucked up. My parents, I don't know.
Nice.
My dad would make me pick my belt.
You Nas,
okay?
You're not a ride or die. Fuck that. Like
Are you fucking dumb? Danny, I'm not getting a beating for fucking nobody.
You ride it out.
You did that for your siblings?
You know how many times I got beatings for my sisters?
Are you wilding the fuck out?
Let me tell you.
They not getting beats for me, so why the fuck am I doing that?
Me and my sister was riders, okay?
Nah.
Me and my sister rode it. I remember one time my mom had told my sister, like, you gotta get out or whatever, and it was really cold. It's because my sister didn't come home on time or whatever, and my mom put her out, and she was sitting outside in front of the house or whatever. It was mad cold, and I kept peeking through the window. My mom was like, don't go to the window, Last time I went to the window, I said, I'm gonna bring you some food. Like I was whispering, like I was mouthing it. I was like, I'm gonna bring some food when she leaves. My mom used to work nights. And as soon as my mom fucking left, that door was open. My sister was in her bed sleeping. And when my mom came home, my sister was still home. And my mom didn't say anything to me because she understood that concept. But I'm gonna tell you about the time that my mom fucking beat me for no for no reason. And y'all gonna laugh. So I'm at my mom's job. This is in my adult years. She didn't beat me, but she boxed me in my face.
Yeah.
This is in my adult years. I'm at her job.
Box meaning punch, guys, for the Americans.
Nah, box don't mean punch. Box means slap.
Well, shit.
Yeah, thump means punch.
I caught it how I caught it. It felt like a punch. My mom's hands is big. Everything felt like a punch.
But so I'm at her job, and she works at a clinic. If you know my mom, don't ask me to say hi, please. She works at a very known clinic on Sufton. And this lady was in there. I'm getting my blood work. I left out and I forgot to get to one other test. My mom always takes my shots. So she was taking my blood or whatever. She's like, Daniela, come to the back. I came to the back and I'm like, okay, mommy, or whatever. The lady had already been going on and on in the shop. I need my Metro cards. I need this. The free Metro cards you get when you go to the clinic. I need. So she's going off with my mom. But I'm not saying anything to her. Until, because I know it's my mom's job. I'm trying my best to be quiet. I'm getting annoyed because I hear her getting crazy with my mom. And then she's calling kind of old bitches and shit. And then I said, you know what, mom, you don't even pay attention to her. She gonna say, oh, that's why, because that's your daughter. Da 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 da. Bitch, that's all she had to do was address me. I said, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but I will beat you the fuck up in here. Don't play with me, bitch. And I started walking towards her. My mom's like, Daniela, stop. And my mom is like trying to like stop me or whatever. And I'm like slowly walking towards her. And my mom's like, Daniela, stop. Like the last Daniela stop was accompanied by a box across my face.
Oh my God.
And I looked at her and I was like, did you just box me? She said, you have to stop. I'm at my job. I don't want to lose my job. And I said, you right. She boxed me because she was trying to.
That was justified.
Yeah, that's a justified box. She boxed me to bring me back to my senses because I was so annoyed. But I was just like, damn, mommy, you boxed me like in front of all these people.
I'm not catching heat for nobody.
Listen,
and I'm not gonna do that with my kids. I'm not gonna. I feel like they would pin us against each other by saying if one fuck up, so nobody wanted to take up for nobody. I remember one time one of my sisters. I have a lot of sisters. So one of my sisters said she went to sneak out to meet this boy around the corner.
Before. Only once,
and she asked my other sister to take up for her, like cover for her, and I was with my sister when she said that. I act like I don't hear shit. I was standing right there.
Deaf and blind.
I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. I'm not in it. So she covering for her. My dad comes home and he asks for my first sister that left. Where is she at? So, mind you, my sister, I think she was trying to leave the window open. She was trying to like leave something open in the house so she can get in and cover for her. And I remember he questioned her. He kept us in the living room because you got to get through the front door. Kept us in the living room, kept asking. I didn't say shit because I'm not in it. I'm been it and I ain't in it. So my sister, dumbass, she was like, I don't know where she at. She just, I think she left and came back. I don't know. And she lying. And my dad, this is why I'm a horrible liar. He always told us, look me in my eye and you better not lie to me. And if you twitched, your eye moved a little bit, like he dead would.
Shit, I'd be looking like this.
No, it was so fucking hard. It was so intimidating. Mm-hmm. So anyways, my sister comes home. Mm-hmm. Lights are on in the living room. And my other sister standing right there. She like, I thought you had my back. And we're all looking at my dad because, bitch, you know damn what the fuck is going on right now. When I tell you, good thing I didn't make myself part of this. He tore her ass the fuck up. And I said, that's why I don't cover for none of y'all bitches. I'm not doing this. I think it was like a folding chair. And my sister was trying to fight back with my dad. And mind you, my dad's 5'3" and my sister 5'3". So it was like, you not about to do this, son.
Wait, so your father is 5'3" and your mother is 6'?
Yes. Yes. So that's why my dad, he was like, he led with an iron fist. Like, I don't give a fuck. Y'all gonna respect me.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't mean to laugh.
I'm the shortest one out of my sisters. I'm 5 feet. All my sisters are 5'3". So you could imagine that you cannot approach a nigga 5'3", maybe 5'4" on a good day, depending on what shoe he had. Mm-hmm. But my dad was like, I'm gonna fuck you up so you know not to try me. Because I think, I don't know, he had the little man complex thing going on. You know what I mean? You couldn't wear heels around him. Like, he had this whole thing going on. But when she came home, she got her ass tore up. And my sister still wanted to hold that bitch down. I said, you are wilding the fuck out. And she didn't get it beaten. But he said, the next time you fucking lie to me for her, I'm gonna fuck you up the same way. And he let me stand there, so it was a lesson to me too. And I said, this is exactly why I do not cover for y'all. And you could ask any of my sisters till this day. I do not cover for y'all. I'm not in it. Because then I get dragged into it, and then I don't like drama. I don't want to be in... I used to be in my room. I'd be like, they were like, oh, come upstairs. I'm like, I don't know it. I remember you give her a beat, and I don't know. I had nothing to do with it. You're loyal. I'm not about to be that.
Listen, my sister, I remember one time I never had to sneak out. My mom had so much, like, I had so much free reign, like, with my family, with my mom. Like, I could do anything I wanted. So I remember there was this car races that I wanted to go to with my best friend, but I wanted to just go out to my mom, like, y'all want to go out with Naya or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so we go to I go to my mom's room and I say, Mommy, I'm about to leave. She said, you about to what? That was where I fucked up. I didn't ask her.
You thought she was grown. How old were you?
I was probably like 17. But she was frustrated because it was like other people had like kept telling her what they were gonna do instead of asking her, and that's where I fucked up. As I said to her, like, oh, I'm about to leave or whatever. She said, you're not going nowhere. I said, Mommy, please. I'm begging her. She's like, no, right? So I'm like, I go in my sister's room and I'm like, because my mom is never going to check my sister's room. Yeah. She's going to check for me. So I go in my sister's room and I'm like, I want to sneak out. This is the first time and only time. And I said, Kimberly, sleep in my bed. I said, sleep in my bed.
Bitch, so, what the fuck did you used to watch to do this stuff?
I mean, I just thought, like, a common sense. Like, my mom is not going to check my sister's room in the middle of the night. She's going to check for me if she doesn't hear from me. So I waited till my mom went to sleep. My best friend picked me up, and I told Kimberly to sleep in my bed. She slept in my bed, and when I came back, my mom had no clue, and I just fucking rolled over.
Where the fuck did you go?
To the car races. They when we was young like that, they had like they be street racing.
I know, like on the belt and stuff.
By Gateway Mall, like they have like back streets that they used to like.
Where the fuck is Gateway Mall? What are you
in Brooklyn? That mall off. Yeah, like that back block. That was before they even developed over there, like how it is now. Yeah. But they used to be like they had that whole shit. Like,
bitch, you thought you was going to Fast and Furious.
Yo, we used to do it all the time because my best friend, my mom, like I said, my mom didn't care because when I told her I was going somewhere, I was there.
I never snuck out.
I only had to sneak out one time in my life. I'm trying to
think. I've never snuck out. My mom was a person that she always said to us, I'd rather you do whatever you have to do here than do in the street. I'd rather you be upfront honest with me than you sneak in behind my back and do it. So like after my dad died, my mom changed the game literally in the house. So I don't say we had free reign. It was just like a respect thing. Like as long as you gave her a heads up, or as long as you communicate with her, she don't ever want nobody to come to her about her children doing something or being somewhere they're not supposed to be. So for me, I was like, Mom, going here. Like, I was able to go on dates. I was able to do stuff.
Yeah,
she would sometimes maybe bring my brother with me or whatever the case is. But, like, I didn't really have to sneak out. My older sisters now, they had it bad because they were in their teenage years when my dad died. I was 12. So, they couldn't get away with shit.
Yeah, I mean, I had the ability to
my dad was creep. That nigga used to pick up different cars and just drive around different cars, so you never knew who the fuck he was, and everyone in America knew him, and he was well known in Brooklyn. So it was so fucking hard to get away with anything. I got caught sneaking to go to the there used to be a little deli a few blocks from us that was Puerto Rican owned, so it was the only bodega in the hood. And he had mad little weird candies, like the good candies. You know what I mean? I remember I'm obsessed with Laffy Taffies. I remember I snuck out just to go do that. And my dad always said, before you leave the house, you call me and tell me before you leave. And you got to ask permission, even if he's at work. I didn't think it warranted a fucking call.
Yeah.
So I did that. Nigga pulled up on me. He did a cat call. He pulled up on me. And I looked and I was like, oh shit. I turned around and it was him. And then he was like, where the fuck are you going? Get in the fucking car. Because I was ignoring the cat call. Yeah. It was him. Yeah. Got my ass tore the fuck up over some Laffy Taffies.
Over some Laffy Taffies.
So that's why I don't sneak out. I don't do that.
I mean, overall, this conversation is like, we're just sharing our experiences about, like, I guess, with how we grew up. And even though, like, just engaging, like, I guess not even child abuse, but like just like, you know, like that whole situation with Gabriel, like you said, gave me some insight to think like, you know, like maybe we shouldn't be disciplining our children so harshly, and maybe we should be having these conversations because like we think about how they shaped us today.
Yeah.
And not everybody's going to think like that. Everybody's not going to feel like, you know, they've been shaped and molded by beatings. So just all in all, like, you know, be mindful of how you are treating your children, because this is going to reflect how this is going to be a reflection of your parenting.
Did the mom get time? Did he go to jail?
Yeah. So the father ended up getting life in jail. He's been placed on death row, and the mom got life in jail.
Is she on death row?
No, she's not on death row, because she wasn't the actual person that she performed the other beatings, but the beating.
I think she should be on death row too. That's your child.
She didn't go on death row because she had like mental disabilities or something like that. That was what that was. But
it's always a sad case when you hear about trauma kids experience, child abuse. I do think that sometimes, if you're not exposed to the other aspects, the other side about the authorities that have to get involved and what they're limited to, everyone wants to be a good civilian, but also people have to protect their jobs. Sometimes you're putting a job, you know, or at risk if you go above and beyond because it's outside of the constraints of what you're allowed to do. It all kind of depends. So it is a little tough. Yeah, it is a little tough. And I know my sister personally experienced that with her when she worked for ACS. So it is tough. Yeah. Social workers have a really tough job doing. I think a lot of people don't understand that. And then also when it comes down to the police are they're not the right people to get involved because they don't have the authorities to remove people. It's really the court system and the social workers to do the job. But anyways, guys, this episode, we got to wrap up. Danny, anything that you want to say before we head out?
I don't really.
Don't beat the shit out of your kids. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not saying don't beat your kids, but just in general, like don't
see something, say something.
That see something, say something, and don't dehumanize little babies and little kids because they are little humans.
Innocent.
They are little humans. So be mindful when you are beating your kids, your dogs, your
bitch. I know you beat your dog. I see it on Instagram.
I do. You never see me beat my dog on Instagram.
He had this something.
I did not beat him on
No,
Instagram.
you didn't beat him, but you punished him. What the fuck did you do?
I put him in the cage. That's what I do.
He was like, he tore something up. And you
I
was
mean, I
yelling
popped
at
him on the butt with the newspaper, but I
didn't want to kill my dog. That's why I don't have a dog.
Yeah,
my dog just wash it. I don't.
But
I don't do
be
dogs
mindful when you are abusing these children and these animals.
Have patience.
Yes, that's what it is.
Don't have children if you are not prepared to have patience. Anyways, guys, check us out on IG at the Loud Ones Podcast. Twitter is Loud Ones Podcast. Follow me on IG at always_Nas. I want to start putting it here. If our engineer knows how to do that here. Put it here at always_.
Shout out! Oh, I do want to say a shout out. Shout out to my baby brother Freddie. He is he went away today he's accomplishing a goal, and he asked me to shout him out. So I want to
shout out to him.
Shout out to my baby
Congrats
brother
to him.
Freddie, and shout out to our engineer Preach.
You know, yes. I will Preach out if he can do this.
He's a
at always_Nas.
he's a pain in the ass, but he's great. Thanks, Preach.
We love him though.
We do. We love you, Preach.
Danny, what's your IG?
My IG is at Danny Bonaducci. And you guys have a great week.
Do this. Let's see if Preach knows how to. All right, bye guys.
Bye guys.